Hello, geometry people. We're looking at Fry's class and properties of equality. This was done in class, so if you want to jot these down, that is a minus there. That's 8 minus C. You could pause this, fill in those blanks because that helps. Then you have some good examples, and you could pause this also. And what I did was to save me some writing, I did A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and then I just matched them here so that you have some examples of the properties. Okay, so if you want to pause those once again, fill in those blanks. That's a C there. A plus C would equal B plus C when you add something to it. Okay, if it's the same thing. All right. Okay, moving on, doing some odds. I want to take a look at the odds here for this logic and proof algebraic proofs, the day one. If you want to take a look at these might help you eliminate some of the other choices that you have. For number 1, I have a subtraction property of equality. For number 3, I have a distributive property. You can see the 3 being distributed into the parentheses. For number 5, I have a substitution property. Just substituting that n in for m. For 7, I have a transitive property. You know, if this equals this and then that equals that, then this is going to equal this. So just transitive. And 9, you should have H symmetric property. Just, forward, backward, should be symmetrical. Okay, so taking a look at number 11, you are given this equation, so that's a given. And then what I'm doing is I'm adding 18 to both sides, so that's the addition property. I didn't write property after each one. You may want to. And then I'm multiplying by 5 in order to get m by itself, and so it's multiplication property. So you're pretty much just saying what you're doing in order to solve for the variable. Take a look at number 13 here. You're given the equation. I end up subtracting 5n from both sides, so subtraction, and then I'm dividing both sides by the 7. And then for 15, go ahead and try the evens on your own. We make mistakes, that's okay, no big worries, we learn from them. We're given this long equation. I use the distributive property first. Then CLT is combining like terms. Okay, and then I use subtraction. I subtracted the 5x from both sides. I have addition, I added 2 to both sides, and then I divided because I divided both sides by 7. All right, so that's that first page. So for this one, I think you're going to actually do this the next day, but I might as well put it on this one right now, and I hope that you're watching this even for the next day's assignment. We have these statements, it's given, so they added 1 to both sides, that's addition, and then they divided both sides by 4, so that's a division. Okay, they give you the equation, and then they did the distributive property. Negative 9 went into the 2x and into the negative 3, and becomes this. Then we subtracted 27 from both sides, subtraction property, and then we divided both sides by negative 18, and so that's division. For number 6, we did this one in class, given subtraction property and division property, so that's kind of a bonus for you. But I did start this one for you, and I might as well finish it. Distributive property is done first, and then let's see, that was combining like terms, and then it looks like they subtracted 12 from both sides, 12x, so subtraction. And then from this step to this step, it looks like they added 14 to both sides, so that's addition property. And then we have division, so we divided both sides by negative 15, so division property will be there. This one, you're given this. I did the distributive property, 2 to the x and 2 to the negative 9 became negative 18. Then I added 18 to both sides, and then I divided both sides by 2. For number 9, we're given this equation, then we do the subtraction property of subtracting 2k from both sides, and then I add 4 to both sides, and then I'm dividing by 8. And hopefully you're pausing it as you go, because I'm going pretty fast through this. You're given this equation. I use the distributive property on both sides. Then I combine like terms, CLT. I'm adding, what did I add there? It looks like I added a 2x to both sides, and then I subtracted. And I mean, you could go either way. You know, if you had something different here, that's fine, because you could have, I could have subtracted 2x, and I had a -4, so that could be subtraction there, you know. But I did it this way. So and then I subtracted 34 from both sides, and then I divided both sides by 4, so division. It's kind of a long one, just 2 more pages. This first one, I'm given this amount, and then I use the subtraction property. It looks like I subtracted 6x to both sides, and then I divided everything by -2. This one, I'm given these 2 things up here, and then there's a substitution, substituted that in, and then I have the transitive property being used. Just because if this is this and this and this, and then if you put this together and get rid of those, that's transitive. And then it's an example of a transitive from there to there. I was just thinking you could just subtract the f from both sides, but no. We'll stick with it. Yeah, proofs are kind of tricky. They're not my favorite thing. Even from high school, they weren't my favorite. But because I just like to work the problems out. I didn't want to explain what I'm doing. But anyways, here we are explaining. So we're given these 2 things. There's a substitution property, and then there's a distributive property that's used, then a combining like terms, and then a subtraction and a division. And here I am given this amount. I'm subtracting the 32 from both sides, and then I'm dividing. This is 9/5 times c, so I divide both sides by 9/5, which actually is the inverse. When you divide by a fraction, you multiply by its inverse, 5, 9, so I'm done there. There may have been another step describing that, but that's good. For number 9, we're given these 3, this, and this. We're given those. And this one I kind of thought, well, what do they really want you to do here? If I take and subtract, from both sides, I subtract, then I use the transitive property, then my p equals s. So if these 2 equal each other and you're subtracting the same thing from each other, well then this is going to equal this. Okay. And then lastly, I'm given this and I'm given this, and I got to prove that. So I get those 2 things. I took this and I used the multiplication property. I multiplied every term by a -4. So then when I put these together, I'm adding both of these new equations together. I get all of this, this new equation here. Then I combine my like terms, and then I use the division property to get b equals -1. Okay. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully you do well on the even ones. Good luck.